Okay, so I'm speaking to you from my garage. You can tell it looks really nice. Um, my kids have midwinter vacation, and the house is not quiet, and I could definitely not, I can't find a quiet room or get anything done. So I figured I would escape with you guys to the garage. Let's get a few things done. Let's talk about my diagnosis. So it took the doctors a few weeks for them to figure it out. I think from the time I first entered the hospital until I got my diagnosis was about like 6 weeks. Initially, the doctors thought I had something called LGL, and ultimately they diagnosed me with something called Myelodysplastic Syndrome, which is MDS for short. So I'm not sure what all the ramifications are or how wide that spectrum is that falls under MDS, but the only symptoms that I have is if I go for a jog, if I go for a run, then I get out of breath. It's not, if you were to look at the totality of everything that comes with the family of cancers, you have, we're talking about blood cancers over here. You have, let's say, something like leukemia at the top. You have acute and chronic leukemias. Those are like real blood cancers. You have things like lymphoma. Then you have things on the very bottom over here. Those are like anemias, where you're just like iron deficient. These are all like blood disorders. So myelodysplastic syndrome is something that kind of like fits in between over there. It's not exactly a cancer. It's not leukemia, and it's not anemia. It's something a little bit more severe than that. There's something that's happening for me on a molecular level. This is a mutation within the blood cell. And again, the doctors don't know how I got this thing. But again, it's affecting my hemoglobins. My hemoglobins are down, which means that my heart has to pump faster or harder in order to provide oxygen into my bloods, which is somehow being sucked out by this MDS. Now, it could be everything that I said here is wrong. This is my understanding of MDS. It's not my interpretation, but it's just the way I understand it. And this was the opinion of the hospital I'm going to. I'm using the Cornell Weill New York Presbyterian Hospital in New York City. I did go across the street to Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is literally diagonally across the street, and I went there for a second opinion, and I spoke to a top hematologist, and that doctor said essentially that there's actually two things going on. I have this LGL and I have this MDS. I'll read you the pathology report. I actually printed it out for you over here, so this is going to get a little bit scientific. But let's see what it says. Excuse the plane flying overhead. The pathology report says, hypercellular bone marrow with multilineage dysplasia with at negative 5% blasts. Morphology compatible with myelodysplastic syndrome. Expanded T large granular lymphocyte population detected by flow symmetry, 70% of cellularity per report. Findings are most consistent with MDS-MLD. Correlation with cytogenic and molecular studies is recommended. So that basically means that I have MDS. Reported flow symmetry study also detected an expanded T-LGL population, 70% of cellularity. In-house T-cell clonality studies detected clonal TCR gene rearrangements consistent with the clonal population. The clinical significance of this finding is not entirely clear, as clonal T-LGL populations can be seen in reactive situations. However, a neoplastic T-cell lymphoproliferative disorder cannot be entirely excluded either. So that means that when I went across the street to Memorial Sloan for a second opinion, they found that I had both these things. I had the MDS and I had the LGL. Now, it could be that I've had this thing for many, many years, and it could be that I might even be able to have this for many years. Again, I have like almost no symptoms. I'm able to be fully functional, live my day-to-day life. It's only when I do a workout, when I'm doing cardio. So it could be that I could continue with this, but the doctors ultimately want to treat me now when I'm in a healthy state. I'm young for an old person. I'm 46 years old. A lot of people who are getting this, they're not coming in until they're like 60. That's when people are getting this thing. So they just want to just completely wipe it out, just completely eradicate it out of my system. They'll do the bone marrow transplant. They could totally clean this out of my system, give me a clean bill of health. I think they're going to be generous with the chemo because I'm young. They're going to be giving me high-dose chemotherapy. And it could be that we could totally eradicate MDS from being in my system, ever. So hopefully that's good news. Subscribe to my channel to keep following me. Appreciate it.